So sometimes these videos take a couple of tries. I've noticed that, and sometimes I'll make videos that I talk and I don't post because I feel like they're not necessarily really, I don't know, how I'd like to present my words. So I, I don't know, I've been noticing a lot recently that my world has been getting a lot smaller, and I kind of wanted to take a more personal route with this idea for this kind of entry, I guess, and talk more about myself and my experience that kind of has been coming along with that. Um, I think that, you know, what I mean by small world, I guess, I think I'm saying more so that, I'm noticing kind of my grasp on, what's the word? My, I guess my grasp on outreach, um, socially has been getting a lot smaller. And I think that, I guess that's in a couple of parts. I think that's in dating. I think that's in friends. I think that's in my general social circles. Um, and yes, sure that there are ways that in which I am getting, you know, different aspects of my life which are broadening, but there are different aspects which I haven't really experienced before, and kind of more non-conventional ways for a 19-year-old boy to really kind of understand fulfillment. And I think that these avenues are a little bit more in depth, and I haven't really taken the time to appreciate them as much or really understand the appreciation that goes along with that. Um, so I think that, obviously school has a big part of this kind of shrinking of world that I've been feeling with, kind of a lack of. I hope my mic isn't peaking bad. Oh my god. Kind of a lack of, more rudimentary types of relationships where you see people, you're not necessarily so involved with the people, but it is a very social aspect of the way that I kind of move around the world. Um, I don't think that that's a bad thing, but it is weird because I think that a lot of things that kind of go on in my life have been, I guess, more that I've been noticing, as in, um, I don't know, I've been noticing a lot of my surface level values that I kind of. Fuck me! I work like 10 hours today, I'm sorry. A lot of. I've been noticing a lot of values, that I've been having, or that I've had, that have a lot to do with more surface level relationships or concepts or reasons for purpose, or even kind of um, understandings of value. Um, and I think that, you know, those are very good things that I'm kind of digging into, but I'm finding that it is very difficult to kind of rewire things that, hold on. I'm finding it kind of difficult to, like, I have this recognition of these things, and I know this is kind of broad, but there are those more menial or surface level or kind of even shallow ways of going about kind of defining value and purpose. And I think that I've been noticing a lot more of those things. You could say, like, I guess, looks or perceived dating value or perceived friendship value or family value, and kind of looking at my place in the world and how I've kind of understood it to this point. And I think that the way that I've been looking at things has been in points unhealthy, and I think that that recognition is very good, but breaking out of those patterns has been very difficult. Um, and that's something that I've been having a hard time with. I've kind of been able to experience a little bit of a slower, not slower, but um, a little bit of a different mindset as of the last couple of months since summer started. And I think that those things really boil down to the opportunity for me to really be alone. And when I mean alone, I mean a little bit of a forced loneliness. And I think that, I have always been the type of person where I really kind of do think I do well alone, but that idea of loneliness in that space is more of a choice. And I feel like in this time that I'm in, it's not. I feel like there are points where I do long for connection or appreciation and uh, recognition from others around me or people that I may not know or just in general. And I think that because I've been kind of in that period and not receiving it, it's been pushing me to a kind of headspace that I haven't really been before. Um, I think that the way that I look at my own personal evolution has been very much about progress and fast progress. I like success. I like seeing it. I like feeling it. I like knowing it in my head. And that goes for both external physical success and internal success within my own mind and my own soul. Um, but it is it's weird, this space that I've been in, because I feel as though I'm evolving in some sort of way, but it is at a rate in which I haven't really felt before. I feel a sort of evolution in myself happening with kind of the way that I am presenting myself moving forward throughout more of my adult life, and it feels as though a more happy and wholesome image of how I want to project myself. But at the same time, it's also very difficult to kind of accept. Um, I feel like for quite a bit of time, I have been really struggling with some kind of undealt traumas with relationships and um, that kind of aspect of my life. And I feel like in the time, I really felt like I worked on those aspects of my life, but then now I'm kind of in this period of quiet, forced quiet by God or by happening or who knows. Um, and this has kind of forced me to open up these kind of traumas and notice these traumas boiling up in points more often. And I think that, through this, I've realized that the traumas that I kind of feel as though I have, I guess, per se, succeeded through, um, have kind of more of an underlying impact that I think I have choose to ignore or even almost wear on myself as a defining aspect of my person. And I think that these kind of scars, I guess, have embedded themselves into different aspects of my life through self image or through um, my image on dating or on friends or um, my perceived value and my real value and how I feel about myself. And I think that, now that I've kind of been given the opportunity to really kind of look at these things in a slow, kind of controlled setting away from people, um, it's a lot harder than I kind of imagined. And I think that when I had first dealt with these traumas, I had taken them head on and challenged them and redefined myself through them through pure will. And I think that because of that kind of active action that I took, I felt as though the things that I had been through, I had gotten over. But in reality, I think as though I had gotten over them, but not healed. I talked with a friend today about healing, and she mentioned something to me that is sort of sad and frustrating for to hear. But she said that there are few points in your life where you are fully healed, healed from trauma, healed from experience. And I think that because of those things, um, kind of having that more lasting impact on me, they feel as though it's an impossible question. I I find myself stuck a lot, really trying to figure out ways to cope with things that have no not physical, I don't know the word, that have a mental aspect, a mental, a mental effect on how I move about the world and how I think about the world, which are over. And I'm noticing now a lot that um, I've been wearing a lot of these scars and using them to kind of define myself, as though this is something that happened to me and I made it through, and that in and of itself continues to maintain the power of the scar over my mobility. So, something I've been kind of trying to work through is this redefining of values of myself, I guess. And not myself as in I am changing myself or redefining myself. I like myself the way I am. But I think that it is about how I perceive myself as valued by others and by myself, and just kind of working through those things that will push me into this next step or this next stage of my evolution, I guess. Um, I hold on. So that kind of ties me into this aspect of redefining, I guess, and looking for new purpose and reason that I can carry through the rest of my life. Um, I I have a mentor, and he's quite the unique character, you could say. Um, when I met him, I remember he had this kind of purity around him. Um, he's older, about 75, and um, I remember he was wearing this white tunic, and it really kind of stood out to me. And I remember we talked for the first time, and um, you know, he's the type of guy that most people would kind of write off as crazy or delusional, or I don't know, find a simile. Um, an adjective. But I think that, you know, I've he has this sort of connection with me where it is very unique in the fact that it's almost as though the way that he sees things is ahead of the way that I see them. And it is as though I am a glass in his way of reading me. He's a unique character. I don't know if that makes any sense, but anyways, I talked to him the other day, and I've been sitting with this thought about being kind of, I guess, in waiting almost. And I've been jumping through the ideas of, well, the way that I think about things is wrong, but then I revert to the way that I kind of have always been, and it kind of acts as a self-destructive nature because I am not getting that attention from friends or from girls or from my family. Uh, and I think that because I am not getting those things, it has allowed me, I guess, because I am not getting those things in a space where I feel as though I'm looking for them, it has allowed me to really sit with the suffering a bit and be able to recognize that what I am kind of, or how I have moved throughout the world subconsciously is a little bit more self-harming and doesn't benefit me in times where I doesn't benefit me, I don't know, as much as I could. I think that, anyways, I remember talking to him and he mentioned something to me about how he feels as though I am moving into my manhood, I guess. And by that by that is meant um, how I will present my values moving forward through the rest of my life. And that gave me a lot of hope. Um, and I kind of sat with that thought a bit and looked at the experience I've been having with this small world, um, and really realizing that I need to be here and I need to be able to sit in this until whatever happens and whenever, while this change builds up and while this evolution through myself and my soul and my mind and my thought patterns kind of continue. And that's hard. Um, you know, I've been having a hard time with it. So yeah, that's all I got to say for tonight. Love you, dog.